How's it going, folks? This is Derek Carper for LTV, and we're here on the site of Campus Town. I'm here with Greg Lantini, the Director of Campus Development. How's it going today?
Everything's good, Derek.
Great. So we have some questions for you today. So I'll just start out. So overall, how has the whole process been going?
Well, luckily the weather's been holding out for us, so we're actually ahead of schedule. We're doing some things financially and with our construction crews to stay ahead, making sure we don't have a tough winter.
Ahead. Great. That's great to hear. And I was going to ask whether or not you feel like it'd still be on time, but it sounds like you guys are doing pretty good.
We're scheduled right now for moving in our tenants retail in June of next year, so they can start doing their work. We're ready for an August opening.
August opening. Wow. And yeah, you're ahead of me here. I was going to ask, so housing's going to be open with the stores open at the same time?
As of right now, we have a schedule of furnishing the apartments on June 7th. June 7th, furniture's coming for the apartment.
Great. So I'll ask you now, what kinds of venues and restaurants are we going to see? What are the highlights?
Well, it's been out there that we have Piccolo Trattoria, Mexican Mariachi, Yummy Sushi. We're working on a couple of big ones, and everybody knows we have Panera in here right now.
Yeah.
So mostly food, that's what we focused on up front. Now we're going after the hard goods.
Okay, yeah, and I know a lot of people asking, I know, but for Mexican Mariachi, so explain why you wouldn't want to, bring in Chipotle or how that wouldn't happen.
It's not that we don't want to bring them in. Especially large national retailers have certain minimum requirements in order to open up a store. They need certain demographics, they need to have certain financial requirements, and then they have requirements on where they want to be. And as much as we love Chipotle, they didn't want to come here.
Yeah, and I know, that's just one thing, but we definitely brought in a lot of great places I've heard so far. So for people living in Campus Town, will they have a meal plan with the college? How does that work, do you know?
They're not required to have a meal plan. Every single apartment that we have has a full kitchen, a refrigerator, washer, dryer, dishwasher, stoves. They can cook their own meals here. If they want to get a commuter meal plan, I'm sure they can, but they're not required to.
Okay, and so similar with meal plans, do you know anything about how points will work over here, if any of that stuff will be carried over?
Right now, there are no plans to bring over the points onto campus. I think over time, as everybody gets used to this being here, that may change, but right now we don't have that.
Okay. Yeah. So a little bit on the structure and everything. How are you feeling about the structural stability? How's all that?
Well, you took a tour just now of the whole site. We have steel frame construction. It's all non-combustible. We went inside, you looked at the apartments, you saw what those were like. This is a very well, solidly built building. Full brick exterior, as you can see in the background, hopefully. And this is going to be a really good project.
Okay, great. I think you seem pretty confident about the project. I'm glad to see that. So thank you very much for having a little interview with us, and thanks for the tour earlier.
Anytime you want to come out for an update, you let me know.
Okay, all right. Again, this is Derek Carper for LTV with Greg here. Thank you very much for watching, folks.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this edition of LTV News. I'm Natalie Laspiza.
And I'm Heather Weinberg. Let's get started.
Last Wednesday, TCNJ's All College Theater had its opening night of Romeo and Juliet. Held in the intimate setting of Kendall Hall's Black Box Theater, this edgy take on Shakespeare's epic love story ran over a course of 4 nights with a total of 5 performances. Unlike your typical Romeo and Juliet, the lines were in the original eloquent language, but the costumes and set were rather unconventional. The set featured a towering 16-foot wall remarkably decorated with chalked-on lyrics of related songs and lines from the play itself. The background also contained hundreds of handmade roses and a web of complicated character relationships. The young characters, such as Romeo and Juliet, were dressed as angsty young hipsters, and the parental figures were fitted with outfits set for attending the country club. The combination of old-style English and the present-day spin on the structure of the play itself made the performance very accessible and engaging. Assistant director Blair DeZiel had this to say: "The show was a huge success. The cast and production staff put a Shakespeare production up in about a month, and it truly captured the interest and attention of everyone who stepped inside the black box. It was exciting and rewarding to see people who don't normally engage in theater or with Shakespeare leave the theater talking about the set or the lights or the actors. It was a labor of love by everyone involved, and it showed. I couldn't be happier." The next performance in ACT's lineup is a murder mystery, auditions for which will be held on October 15th.
After the great disappointment following the announcement of a separate tailgate for those under 21 and over 21, the college announced on Friday, October 8th, the return of the United Homecoming Tailgate. According to the Signal, Student Government President Matt Wells and Intergreek Council President Robbie Nunes, the proposal to the Homecoming Committee was, quote, comprehensive in nature, demonstrated unanimous support from the groups, assumed responsibility and accountability for compliance with adopted rules, and provided a viable, thoughtful alternative to the tailgating plan that had been adopted. Underage drinking, however, still remains a concern to the committee and hope that organizations will help further to implement these rules. Sophomore special education major Natalie Chowk says, I definitely think this compromise was for the better, and it makes more sense instead of separating the school's tailgate into two different areas. According to Nunes, quote, homecoming is the largest networking event of the year, and it would be a shame to prohibit TCNJ's many student organizations from engaging with the alumni from these organizations. Overall, most students are rather pleased with the compromise achieved by the Homecoming Committee. Lions Television wants to wish everyone a happy homecoming with a reminder to stay safe during the big game.
This weekend, TCNJ's Leadership Development Program held its annual Fall Leadership Retreat at Camp Bernie in Port Murray, New Jersey. The theme of this year's retreat was superheroes, with each of the 9 teams representing a different comic book hero. Team bonding started right away on the bus ride there and continued throughout the trip. The night of the group's arrival included more team bonding activities that involved sending a representative from each team to compete against the others. After selecting their cabins, the groups then headed into the forest for a bonfire, more friendly competition, and of course s'mores. Day 2 of the retreat held even more leadership building activities and competitions. Groups were broken up and mixed with each other teams for an obstacle course in the woods. Students learned about their strengths and weaknesses and the importance of supporting one another in order to successfully and safely complete the courses. The groups also faced the challenge of climbing a rock wall, during which they learned about setting and meeting goals for themselves, as well as cheering on their fellow competitors. The rest of the day was comprised of a photo scavenger hunt, team skits about their superhero in the environment of TCNJ, and presentations by LDP members. In the end, Team Green Lantern won, but everyone left having learned a lot about themselves and how to communicate effectively in a group setting. Freshman Jackie Koletsky stated, quote, the LDP retreat was an amazing experience. I met so many new friends that I never would have had I not gone. I learned how to work as a team, trust others, and support everyone else. I will definitely go again next year, and I feel everyone could benefit from FLR. LDP encourages everyone, not only its members, to come out for FLR. If it's something that interests you, look out for it next year.
Eating healthy at college can be pretty tough for freshman students, especially when ICOF keeps putting out those chocolate chip cookies fresh out of the oven. Luckily for TCNJ students, there is a registered dietitian on campus. According to the Signal, campus registered dietitian Elise Halsman, alongside Director of Dining Services Karen Roth, and our marketing coordinator Joanna Brunel, gave a presentation at the Student Government General Body meeting on Wednesday, October 1st, suggesting to students ways to make smart decisions regarding their health. Essentially, their main goal is to promote more healthy options at ICOF Dining Hall. Accordingly, every month there will be different seasonal food items featured. For instance, on Wednesday, October 22nd, the dining hall will be hosting a pumpkin-themed breakfast with hopes of creating a fun yet healthier alternative to the regular dining services. Many students feel that ICOF Dining Services does not provide an adequate amount of healthy options. One being sophomore accounting major Andrew Tedeschi, who argues, quote, ICOF doesn't provide too many options for healthy choices, and I feel they rely more on quantity rather than quality. However, with the new addition of ICOF, the Mindful program, which was implemented last spring, students are able to better understand what they are eating. There are instructions available at each dining station, therefore students can be aware of the calories, sodium, and saturated fat, and everything they eat. LTV recommends students check out these instructions in order to stay healthy at school. Well, that's all we have for today's episode of LTV News. If you would like to become a part of LTV News, email us at ltv@tcnj.edu or like us on Facebook. For all of us here at Lions Television, I'm Heather Weinberg.
And I'm Natalie Laspiza. Have a great fall break, everyone.